See that we can take this spiritual or we can keep it physical, but it's all talking about the same thing. Whatever you bring into your life, you have to be able to process those things, get the good from up out of it, and what is ever left over, call it bad, and then you must eliminate it, right? So everything in life deals with consumption and elimination. So the blood is what feeds the cells of the body. Then you have something called the nervous system, which communicates and commands the cells of the body. And last but not least, this third major system is called the actual lymphatic system. It cleanses the cells of the body. So you got the blood that feeds the cells. You got the nervous system, which commands and dictates what the cells do. And then you got the lymphatic system, which actually cleanses the cells of the body. What happened if all of your so-called diseases is nothing but cellular constipation because you are eating, your cells are eating, you going to defecate in the macro, meaning you sitting on the toilet, but you not defecating on a cellular level. And even if you is defecating on a cellular level, you are so backed up interstitially because your kidneys and your adrenals are not functioning that your lymphatic system or this interstitial fluid inside of your body is not flowing with ease. And since it's not flowing with ease, it's at dis-ease. And that's where you get the word dis-ease from, because you don't have the proper flow of oxygen, minerals, electricity inside of the body. You see what I'm saying? Because your lymphatic system is backed up. So the most important system in the body when it deals with detoxification and when it deals with healing your body and regenerating your cells would be the lymphatic system. The most important system when you need to communicate and speaks to the cells will be the actual nervous system. The most important system when you need to get oxygen and macromolecules, phytonutrients, and all different types of healing constituents like bioflavonoids or mineral dense nutrition, that's the blood. So whenever you want to heal the body, these are three systems that you need to pay attention to: blood, nerve, and lymph. Now, the reason why I'm going to teach you about the lymphatic part first and give you a higher learning or a different perspective or a way to look at it is because this is the actual most important system, because this is the system that's going to plunge and it's going to plumb and basically get all of that that excessive mucus buildup, all of the different types of cytotoxins, toxemias, and everything else out of the body. Now, a lot of people always start from the gut. I used to always start from the gut, but I'm congested right now. So since I'm congested right now, I'm going to show you what I'm doing to get myself uncongested, right? I want to start from the head. All right, so let's start from the head. Now, this is a head. And I want y'all to really look at this and pay attention, because we don't understand how the lymphatic system works and how amazing it is. Now, when you look at your head, if you ever heard of sinus cavities, type in some sevens. If you ever heard of sinus cavities, type in some sevens. And let's break this down, because everything in your body deals with the lymphatic system. I don't care what part of the body it is. Everything in your body deals with the lymphatic system. And I'm going to show y'all some exercises and things that will really move that lymph, y'all. It's crazy. Matter of fact, me and a beautiful goddess just linked up, and we done created some crazy workouts to truly, truly move the lymph, y'all. I'm talking about, it moves your lymph more than a rebounder, y'all. I'm going to show y'all this. All right. Now check this out. So when you actually looking in the head, so this is a cross section where we just going through the head and we just cutting it in half. If y'all can see, you see that you got the pineal gland right here. You see that you have the pituitary gland right here. You got the hypothalamus right here, the hippocampus right here. Now I want to show when you're breathing in, notice how the lymphatic system and how these cavities work, because everything is drawn off breath, because breath is what brings in the Shama or the Ruach HaKodesh in Hebrew, and that's the oxygen molecule. Without the oxygen molecule, you would die. In fact, the body starts to detoxify itself when you lose oxygen. There is no system in your body that doesn't require oxygen. Matter of fact, your body starts to mutate when you don't get enough oxygen, and this is what causes coagulation of cells. This is what causes coagulation of blood, and this is what causes cellular constipation, and this is what suffocates the cells, and then the cells begin to die because you need life. And that's why breathing is very, very crucial, and conscious breathing and doing breath exercises is real good to move the lymphatic system. But I'm going to show you why, though. Now, check this out. When you breathe in through your nasal passage, you go through something called the maxillary cavities. I even took the liberty to draw on there for y'all can remember these things and take screenshots or screen record what I'm talking about here. So the maxillary cavities. So inside the maxillary cavities, these are pockets that actually hold lymph, or what you would call mucus. This this is supposed to be clear. This not supposed to be congested. The only reason why it would be congested if you're backed up lymphatically coming from the actual gut. And I'm going to show you why. Something called volumetric pressure. And I teach y'all about volumetric pressure all the time. If you don't cleanse the gut will start being putrefied and start solidifying. And then you start seeing a bunch of crystallization of the mucosa membrane in the gut. And then it only backs up and go up. So once you start getting very, very congested in the head, that means you congested throughout your whole entire body because it hits the head last. That's the reason why I'm starting with the head first. When you look into the medical field, they always call the head ceph. They always call the neck cervical. They always call the shoulders on down axillary. They always call the gut the goat or the payer patches. And we finna get deep into it, so please write this down, y'all. All right, so the maxillary cavities is literally within your nasal passage. Now, if you go right up from the maxillary cavities between my eyes, you have something called the ethmoid cavities. Now, look how long the ethmoid cavities is. You see that big old pocket? Now, this is where it's worse at. A lot of people get migraines and you don't know why you have migraines. That's because the ethmoid cavities and the sphenoid cavities is full of mucus. It's full of cholesterol. It's full of all the calcium. It's full of all these different things that's building up pressure. And you wondering where the migraine is coming from. What's happening is you are contracting a bunch of liquids. And remember, this liquid is a thick jelly-like liquid. It's actually H3O. It's not H2O. So it's not this thin liquid that you can still get a bunch of room in. This liquid is very, very thick and it's very snotty-like. It look like snot. You got it stuck up in these cavities, and these cavities are filled to capacity, so it's bringing a bunch of pressure with it. So look, you have, this is called the frontal cavity. The frontal cavity is right here. Have you ever had a headache right here with this tattoo head, which I wish I never got, but it's there? That's the actual frontal cavity. You got a migraine right here and you don't know what it is. That's because your actual sinus cavities, or what I'm going to call your lymphatic cavities or your lymphatic fluid storage systems, is backed up, and they not supposed to be backed up. See that? So you have to relieve these things. Now, we deal with a lot of people that get pituitary tumors or have pituitary issues, or what you would say have a lot of reproductive issues. Did you know that the actual pituitary gland is over the reproductive part of a woman and a man? Did you know without the pituitary gland, you cannot produce testosterone, man? Without the pituitary gland, you cannot produce estrogen, women. You cannot produce pregnenolone, women. You cannot produce progesterone, women. These are your sexual hormones on how you conceive and give birth to children. This is your sexual hormone, man, that makes you feel like a man, that give you that acidic, strong feeling, that make you ejaculate into your woman to even give birth to a baby. So a lot of men are sterile and they think it's just because something is going on with their gonads, and it's not. You have too much mucus built up into your actual sphenoid cavities and your ethmoid cavities, and this mucus is now leaking through this little it's very, very, it's like a plastic bone. It's a plastic bone. It's not a hard bone at all. I actually felt one back in the day. On a dead cadaver that they had did a lateral cut on. But this is a real thin bone, and once these cavities get filled, especially the ethmoid and the sphenoid cavities, what happens is an overflow of mucus and of lymph starts to bleed through these capillaries, and then now you got glymphatic fluid covering up the pituitary gland. Now, once glymphatic fluid cover up the pituitary gland, you have to remember that the thyroid is in control, and the parathyroid is in control of something called calcitonin. Calcitonin is actually released from a pituitary stimulating hormone. So you're going to have calcium traveling up to this place. Now you got mucus that's coming up, excessive mucus build up. Then you got calcium mixing in acidic waste. That is going to cause crystallization, and then a mass will begin to grow on the actual pituitary gland. So now you have sexual problems going on down there, and you don't even know that the sexual problem started in your head. So they looking for everything else but your head. How many women deal with fibroids? How many women deal with PCOS? How many women deal with cysts? How many women deal with polyps on their ovaries and on the endometrium lining of the ovaries or of the fallopian tubes? And then 10 to 15 years later, they find out that something is wrong with their pituitary gland, or they have a pituitary anterior or lateral pituitary tumor. But the whole time they've been looking down there and they never checked the head. See that? So this is what you will call the glymphatic system. You see that? And this is what you would call the sphenoid area. Remember, ceph means head. So we're talking about the sphenoid glymphatic system. All right. Now, in order to drain